Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's been it's been a day since we last met. I don't know if anybody's watching these videos, but hope that somebody will watch it and gain some knowledge out of everything that I share here. This channel, again, like I said the first day, my first video is not just videos for everybody out there who is watching, but also I want to utilize this opportunity to journal everything that I did in my trade myself. So what you guys are gonna get is an unscripted version of me reviewing my trade. It was quite the day. It was quite challenging, but I have this strange sense of calmness that I am seeing some things that I need to change in myself and in my. With that said, let's jump into the charts. In the top right corner is my 5-minute chart. Top left corner is my 15-minute chart. Bottom left side is my weekly. Bottom right is my daily. Alright, so let's talk about what my pre-market plan was, what my thesis was before I started the trade. So what I saw this morning is on the monthlies, the market seemed weak. We failed to go higher in August, and September had been a weak month so far with last week's sell-off. And then this week, Monday had bounced back a little bit. Today was opening above yesterday's close, above the hammer, and it seemed to me like though Monday, though the monthly seemed weak, there was a little bit of momentum that might trigger to the upside. With that said, I also was bearish than bullish considering the monthly chart. Now we went down to the weekly, and what I saw was last week, as you guys can see, we sold off pretty badly. And then this week, we opened, like I said, yesterday was a hammer. It sort of was opening at the white line here today and gave me an indication that, okay, though it's opening, almost at the close of last week's low, it had the potential to go even lower, considering yesterday was a little, retracement, and today continues to go a little more higher than the open, and then continue to trend down. And if we find buyers up there when it's trending up, it could potentially change the direction and utilize this momentum as the lower high for a change of trend. And the final thesis was, looking at the overall high level monthly and weekly, was still bearish. And moving down to the daily sort of trended down. This was last Friday. It was at the lower lows of the channel, both the channels, and then yesterday sort of hit the lower highs of the channel, and today was opening above the channel, above yesterday's close, above the hammer. So it sort of was giving me a change in direction sort of structure. And as I was looking at it, I was feeling that the market might, like I said, test higher, and if it finds buyers, continue to trend higher and sort of aim to test Friday's highs, and if that continues, maybe higher. So the weekly and monthly was saying was giving a bearish tone, the daily was giving a little bit of the bullish tone. And I had all of that analysis in my mind, and I was expecting to execute on what the market sort of tells me. And then now we'll go to the top right side, which is the 5-minute chart, and let's go bar by bar and see what transpired. The first bar opened higher than yesterday. It was so bullish. The first bar trended up in one bar it had made about 1.62 points, and that was quite the run. And I was staying patient to see what was going to happen, if it was going to continue. The next bar is going to continue, let it continue, and we'll wait for a nice swing and then enter. But as it did, as you guys can see, it sort of saw weakness there, it sort of saw some selling pressure, sort of ended almost slightly above the close. It was a bullish reversal hammer. That means there is a bit of weakness, so you can expect the next bar to go. And the next bar sort of went lower, broke the first bar's low, and that didn't give me a signal. I'm not gonna enter on the second bar without proper confirmation, though it looked like a confirmation, weakness, and then a good red bar that's continuing to sell off to the lower side. But as you guys can notice, we have the channel line there, and you might have some buying pressure up here, so not a lot of room to risk on a big bar like this. So I was waiting what would transpire next. So the third bar was pretty strong. It sort of retraced back. I was expecting this to retrace somewhere mid to the previous bar, to the second bar, but it retraced a little higher. And I was expecting if the third bar continued to trend higher on the 15 minutes. So if you can see this is the 15 minute, constitutes of the 3 5-minute bars. So what I was expecting is the third bar to sort of trend midpoint to the previous bar, and then the fourth bar taking the third bar down towards a move. So that would mean the 15 minute would be a little weaker, and then the next 15-minute bar taking its lows. That would be a weak setup for me to execute. But the third bar sort of trended up and made this 15 minutes bar here, which is, if you guys can see, it's a doji, which is very indecisive. Though the market is higher than yesterday's hammer, it's still indecisive. So we're still not finding the right buyers or selling, the right buying or selling pressure. And then what happened next is the fourth bar, which was ideal. If you guys notice, like I said, the 15-minute bar is indecisive. It's not too strong, and that's what the fourth bar did. Fourth 5-minute bar, it didn't continue to trend higher and break the close of the first 15-minute bar. It sort of was hovering around that range, where it had opened and closed. So that was giving me some sense of what might transpire next. If the fifth bar sort of broke the fourth bar's low to the downside, and also broke the 15 minutes bar low, which is the third bar's low, that would give me an indication that the weakness is taking more stance than the strength. So that would give me an indication to short the Nasdaq. Though there is a channel line here, I was willing to risk some money to get to to test the channel, which is 1 point away, which would give me around 40% on my contracts. And what happened next is what lost me some money and my mental capacity today, which will take us into the title of today's video, which is I broke all my rules and consequently broke all my composure, and consequently lost a ton of money. So let's get down there. So the fifth bar broke the fourth bar's low, and intention was to get into the trade as the fifth bar also broke the 15-minute low, which would give me a good confirmation. But what I did, if you guys notice here, it just barely, let me take this out. This is how I mark my entries, right? You guys know from the previous videos. So it barely even broke it. It just touched it, and I was too excited to get into the trade. I think that work that I need to get better at. It is some level of FOMO. It is some level of confidence mixed together that's making me jump the gun, right? As a matter of fact, if I had waited for the right confirmation, I wouldn't have even taken that trade and lost my composure and did a bunch of stupid things. So that's what happened. I'm only human. It happens, and I've accepted that today. And through my journey, I'm accepting that I'm gonna make mistakes. But what is required for me and to all of us traders is that we learn from those mistakes and try to not make them again, and keep trying until those mistakes are not to be seen and are spaced out. At least mistakes will continue to happen in this journey, but at least until the mistakes are spaced out and you're making progress in building your bank. So that's the promise I'm gonna make, and I'm gonna be patient with my entries. I'm gonna be letting the market tell me what to do, then me deciding and jumping the gun and doing it because I need to make money and I want to make money. That doesn't work in trading. So we entered there, and what happens next? It didn't break. The 15-minute bar didn't break. We didn't get the confirmation. What happens next? It could have very well gone down, but today isn't the day, I guess. The fifth bar trended up, and if you see the white line, that's my stop loss, and then broke my stop loss. And what happened next? Another set of rules broken. You guys remember that yesterday I mentioned that I've decided that I'm gonna take just one trade a day, and is what I did today. I didn't take the trade. I didn't end the day with this loss. What I did is I sold this position and I entered on another position. And there's some backstory to it. As I was thinking about it, it's not. Thinking about it, it doesn't seem to be like the most stupid entry technically, but trading is not just about technicals. It's as much technicals as much mentals as much technicals. So what is wrong in this entry is me breaking my rules that I set for myself of one trade a day. Why I did that just after expressing that I'm not gonna do that, I'm gonna stick to one trade a day just yesterday, is because of what happened yesterday. Let's look at what happened yesterday quickly. Yesterday I took this trade at 850. I entered on a long, trended up, broke my stop loss as this position was going up. I pulled my stop loss higher because in hindsight it seems okay, but we had a channel yesterday that was trailing the high here, and it seemed like we're gonna go down. So I lost money yesterday. You guys see that video. And then what happens next is, if I had taken another trade, I would have entered here and added another position here and probably exited here. So that's about $2.2, 2.2 points, or at the full length of it, it's about $3.2, so 3.2 points. So that's about 150 to 150% on my entire position, and that would have been a big winner for me. And that, though I had made a plan that I'm not gonna take another trade, that what I saw here subconsciously registered in my mind. And that's what happens as human beings. We see a lot of things, we hear a lot of things, we feel a lot of things, and that's all recorded in your head. And as traders, the only thing that's required when you're at the table, along with a lot of other you know aspects, one of the main things is to be objective while you're trading, to not consider what happened yesterday, to not consider what happened day before yesterday, or to not consider what's going to happen an hour later. What you're going to do is you're going to be objective and stay in the present, in the moment, and look at what the market is telling you. But I lost all objectivity as my first position was a loss, and I entered immediately thinking that yesterday, not even thinking, it's just subconscious, and it's just a fraction of a second. This execution time, if I look at my stats, I can look back at my stats, but this execution time would probably be 30 seconds apart, and that tells you something. I didn't even think about it. It was subconscious. So my subconscious energy is so ingrained with the focus on making money, with the focus of making back the money I lost, that I completely couldn't hone the aspect of sticking to my plan of one trade a day. And it happens. It's many months down the line, and I'm still in this situation, but I've come a long way. And that's what I'd like to share with you guys, that if you're starting off, if you're way ahead of me, even if at my position, we're all gonna go through it again in our lives. And that's what I realized I have to accept today. But what I also have to do is, as the great Mark Douglas says, you have to de-energize the aspect of your beliefs that are not helping you, and energize the aspects that will help you. In my case today, the aspect that I have to de-energize is, you don't have to win every day. What I have to energize is, you must just trade objectively. When I go in with the mindset of I'm going to win today, I will not accept any other outcome other than me winning on the day. That's what happened today. Subconsciously, with yesterday's loss and the trend the market made after that, I went in subconsciously. Consciously, I went in thinking I'm just gonna take one trade, but the execution time tells me a lot here. I didn't have control over any of what happened. Execution time between these two is probably 15 to 30 seconds, or lesser than that maybe. And what I'm seeing is, I didn't accept the risk. I went into the day thinking, okay, I'm being patient, I'm being calm, I'm following my pre-market plan, I've been doing my daily routine, I'm not going to lose. But that's what reflected in the outcome here. I entered, lost, and fraction of seconds, signal fired that you can't lose because you entered not accepting the risk, and you entered that you'll win. And I immediately took another trade, and that's the and that threw me off, right? The second trade, fortunately, I wouldn't say unfortunately, because that taught me a lot of things today. I lost a ton of money, but I don't it's what's supposed to happen to me in this journey. And I've been receiving what I am supposed to receive. And the next position, the next few bars, it went up, and then what happens, it takes me off. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8, eighth bar takes me off. And what happens there? If you see, I had pulled my stop loss high. I entered here, my stop loss was here, but I pulled it up high here. But as a matter of fact, as this position went higher, I should have sold here at my stop loss, but I didn't stick to it because I completely lost all of the objectivity. Then I sold, way below my stop loss. And what happened after that? I took another trade. So that's what you're dealing with when you're trading. Your trading is about emotional balance. It's about staying in the zone and just executing on what the market is telling you, but also sticking to rules, sticking to some constraints that you set for yourself, some boundaries that you can utilize to stay with the flow. And that's what I missed doing today. And I took another trade that went giving me 30%, but my strategy is holding and adding to winners. And the next step for me to do was bring my stop loss down from my entry point here. I think here is where I exited from this position. I entered again. The execution time between these two trades are like 10-15 seconds, and then I had to pull my stop loss below. I pulled it down here, right? You don't see it because I removed it, because I lost all of my objectivity. And then the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10th bar retraced up. The 11th bar was forming a nice swing. I was getting excited. And what happens next? The 12th bar not just takes my stop loss. The thing about options is I don't do limit orders. I'm executing myself. I'm not trading futures, so I can't set stop losses which get executed. The 13th bar completely took me off. I probably exited some point at 456.19 or something. And and after that, my state of mind was shattered, and I couldn't believe myself. I couldn't believe what I did. I couldn't believe the fact that I'm getting the word of lying to myself, but I'm thinking, did I lie to myself by saying I'm going to execute only once? No, it's not lying to myself, but not staying accountable to what I planned to do. And it is because, as I explained, because of the energy in the thoughts that are formed in your subconscious by seeing and feeling and hearing certain things. These get attached to some beliefs that you have, and it energizes more. So what happened again, as I explained, is my belief was, I think I have this energized belief that I gotta make money. And then what I saw yesterday was, okay, Naren took one trade and followed his rules, and then what happened is he missed out on a 150% move. What good is that rule when you're missing out on money? And when my energy is all about making money, and this sort of tied up to it, this is what the outcome is. And this, as you see, today is was all about mental thought process, because I think it's all mental. I know I can talk a ton about this range, this chop, this up and down without any decision, But as a matter of fact, if I had just executed once, maybe I would have gotten in here if it broke the first bar's high, or gotten in here, and I would be happy, okay, the trade didn't work out and close. But I didn't maintain my objectivity, right? Hold on a second. So it's not about the technicals. I know there's aspects of it that I can teach myself and you guys, but I'm sure, as whoever's watching this, if at some point somebody's gonna watch it, they are probably in their journey of trying to conquer trading as well. And most people, most traders fail because they don't know technicals of trading. And this is not just me saying it, it's because of me reading and learning from a lot of good traders and what they've researched, and also what I'm seeing. It's about the mentals, and this is a stark representation of what I must stay away from and what you guys must also stay away from. So with that said, I know it was a really long video, 30 minutes, but this is something that I had to do, unscripted, show you guys exactly what was going through my mind and what made me do all of that. And we'll see where it goes from here. I'm not expecting to be perfect again tomorrow, which is a mistake I realized. I'm going in again to do the best I can in my ability, and just continue to learn and continue to execute at the highest level. Alright, gang. Talk to you later. Bye.